In this tutorial, we're going to take a look at how to record your final presentations for your projects using a couple different options in Flipgrid. The goal of this is so you're presenting your slides with information in the background, but your image and video still remains present in the foreground as if you were actually doing a live presentation. So there's a couple tips to getting you set up so you can do this efficiently. And that would be by starting with a new Chrome window where you have your Flipgrid prompt opened in one tab and your slides that you want to share with the information in another tab. And so we're going to toggle over to our slides that we're going to share. And to put these into present mode so they are easy to use with the screen recording feature or the green screen backdrop, we are going to put this into present mode a little differently than we normally would. Normally you'd go here and click present and it would open up in a nice full screen mode, but we are going to go all the way down to the very end of the URL for these slides, and we want to find where it says edit. And I'm going to put my cursor right there between that / and where it says edit. And you're going to select everything from the word edit onward, and we're going to replace that with the word preview, Preview. So when we do that, we're then going to hit enter and you'll see what happens. Now our slides show up in present mode, but now that navigation bar is fixed at the bottom and you can use that to toggle between slides, or you can always still use the arrow keys to toggle back and forth. So I've got my presentation ready, but we need to record our image in the foreground. So one way to do that is by going to Flipgrid and hitting Add Response. And we're going to use the screen recording feature to set up an image of ourselves or a video of ourselves in the foreground. So to do that, you want to go to Options, and then you're going to select Record Screen. This is going to record the computer screen in front of you. You do have to pick your default cameras and microphones, which should automatically be selected. If you notice that when you start talking, your microphone isn't reading here, that might mean that your microphone is not picking up your audio, and I'd hate for you to go through and record your entire presentation without it catching that sound. So make sure you check that first. Once you know you're good to go, hit Start Screen Recording. You're going to get another window where you need to select your entire screen and then hit Share. And so now you can see our image shows up down here in the lower right. And then if we toggle over to our slides, now you're still showing up down here in the bottom. And we can hit hide there. We don't need that to show up. But now what I can do is if I'm in the way of maybe some slide information, you can drag yourself around. You can move your cursor to the corners and you can resize yourself. You can make yourself smaller or bigger, but you can move yourself around. But see how I can still click through my slides in the background and I'm still showing up here as if I'm presenting. So that's one way for you to be able to go in and record your slides while still staying visible. Another way to add a response in Flipgrid so that your slides remain set in the background while you are showing up in front is through the backdrop option. So instead of selecting options, you're going to go over here and select backdrop on the bottom right. And then you're going to select the icon that looks like a little computer screen. And when you hover over it, it says use screen as backdrop. So we're going to select that. And this is where we're going to do something a little different. You're going to go over to Chrome tab. And you're going to select the tab that has the slides that you want to have in the background. So when you select those and hit share, it's going to shoot you over to those slides. But you might want to go back to Flipgrid because we haven't actually started recording yet. We are going to appear like this as just our video being overlaid, but you can see we probably want to resize ourselves, maybe move us down here in the corner, but you can see you're still showing up, you're still visible in the slides. So just make sure you're out of the way of any information that might pop up on those slides so you don't block any important information. So you can do that, but then right now we're still not recording anything, so we want to make sure that we hit the center button there to start recording. And then we are going to navigate back to our slides. And so we want to make sure that the slides are set on whatever the first slide is that you are responsible for presenting. And then you would just go through as you normally would and start sharing on that topic. And if you're not sure, if you want to just double check and make sure before you get going that you are actually recording correctly, if we go back to Flipgrid, you should see, again, your slides and your image. So we'll go back over here. You'll navigate through, you'll share all the information in your slides, and then when you're finished, you will go back over to Flipgrid, which you can navigate right back over to that tab. Or if you have this bar at the top, this is not being recorded in your video, so that stays hidden. You can go back and hit View tab, and it will take you back to the Flipgrid. And this is where you can pause your recording and stop that and add any maybe effects or anything that you need to do to edit it. But then you'll hit Next. And this part is going to be the same. And then, this part's going to be the same as far as the editing goes. If you need to cut out any of the dead video or the video at the beginning or the end of your presentation where maybe you aren't really recording anything important yet. So maybe you're just still getting things set up, or you're toggling back and forth between tabs to make sure everything is recording appropriately. You can always go back and set this so you cut out all of that information. So that being said, I am going to double click on this bar. And you notice when I double click on that, now I have these toggle points at the end where the little hand icon comes up. And so what that allows me to do is it allows me to drag my start and end points to where I want it to pick up. So just make sure you're cutting out any of that dead airtime where you just still might be setting things up or turning things off at the end. So you can slide there and I can cut that and then confirm and then next, and then you can always go back and make sure it's ready to submit.